Hello everyone, welcome to Scorcher Toys at anymoon.com's tutorial on how to install the fast packs and advanced packs on your Bandai DX YF-19 or VF-19 Advance toys. Now the advanced packs are just fast packs with a few more parts, so we're going to start with the DX YF-19 and install the fast packs. We have on one side the fast packs already installed, so you can see where we are going with this. We're going to start on this side by removing the pegs that hold the wing into the leg. So all we have to do, let's get this out of the way. We'll get the wing entirely out of the way. We're just going to pull upward on this area here. So you can see there's a peg right there. If we flip the toy over, a peg right there. There's also a peg up towards the front. So now that we've unseated those two, we're going to keep pulling away until that peg also comes out. And then flipping the toy over, there is a peg in the knee that is going into this center section here. So we need to pull at the leg away a bit and pop that free. Now, if you're doing this with a YF-19, you might have vertical stabilizers pop off. See my full review for the DX YF-19 for a little more discussion on that. But continuing on, we'll put that on when we're all done. We've got the leg down now where we can access the peg points. So we have some pegs, we have some slots. You know you've got the right part if it's got the little relief on the bottom for that stabilizer piece down here. Once it's in, now you can see on the other side, we do have a little angle that's going to need to be there. We're going to want to bring that leg back up, which is particularly tricky because underneath this piece here, which we can bring upward, there is this big arm joint. So as you bring things up, it's going to be tight clearance. And there's a little kind of extension gimmick that happens. So we will now, at the gear walk joint, we're gonna pull up. But as we do this, we need to make sure we're clearing on the bottom with that peg. So there you go. And then we're gonna come over and look at it from the top. And we wanna make sure our leg comes up over that little joint in here, the shoulder joint. And everything gets into position. And there you go, there's your little gap right there. This is flat, and you can peg in the wing into the armor itself. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get this back into place. Which apparently is easier said than done. So that goes back into place like that. The peg should be pretty much lined up into that armor as it is. The top peg will be floating. There's one of the downsides to using the fast packs. If we look from underneath, peg back inside and seated here, so everything's lined up. We can just put that back into place and we're ready to move on to the smaller armor inside the leg. All right, so I've pegged my vertical stabilizer on the other side back in, and now we've got this piece here. Now there is a trick to this piece, and that is that on the top, just above the peg, there is a little L or R stamped in. And you need to use that to determine which side you're putting this on. So I've got my left side piece, and it's just a big peg. I'm just going to put it in, and I'm going to slot it in. And I'm just going to press back once I've got it in the proper position. So there you can see it's in position. And now I'm just going to rotate this piece down, and as I do, I'm going to try to push it forward. There are two little pegs on the front of it, and if everything works out just right for you, you can barely clear that shoulder armor and get that in there. Now I did pull down a little bit on the leg to make that work, but once it's in place, everything should be nice and tight. Now, both on my advanced toy and my YF-19, I can't quite get these pegs to sit as flush as they should, so you might end up with a little bit of gap on that side. The last part of traditional fast packs, before we move on to the advanced packs, is this piece here. And it's got a peg in the front and a peg in the back. And we're just going to take this peg and we're going to slot it in right here. And we're going to take the other peg in the back and slot it in right there. So boom and boom. And you got everything done well if there's very little gap when viewed from behind, right where those pieces meet the legs. All right, now we're ready to move on to advanced pack parts. And again, I could keep putting them on this toy, although there's a color difference. So we'll pull out our VF-19 Advance. All right, I've grabbed my DX VF-19 Advance and we're ready to continue on from the fast packs installed to installing the full advance packs. That just means these parts here and that booster beyond what we've already done. So find this piece in your tray of parts. It just has some pegs on the back that slide right into the front of that shoulder piece. Then you want this little tiny guy. Now it has in front of that peg a little R or an L. So you're going to make sure you got the right one. When installed properly, it should mate very nicely with that piece right behind it. So there you go, that's all good there. And now we just need to take our big booster. Now I do have a peg that keeps coming out on me there. We do have our big booster here. This has a peg on the bottom and a little dot on the top that goes into that little indent right there. And on the bottom, I don't know if we can get that on there. There is a indent right there as well. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna slide it on. Now, full disclosure, I think this is true of most people. I've got one side that pegs in pretty nicely. The other side is very tenuous in how well it pegs in. So I can get it on there. As long as I don't touch it now, it's gonna be fine. I can display it, but handling this, I'd probably bump that off pretty quickly, and you might have it be the same way. Don't worry about it. It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's just that Bandai didn't really engineer the best latching mechanism for those particular parts. Check out anymoon.com for my full article. I've also got a transformation guide out there. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.